All right, so we are going to start with your name and the medium you work in.
My name is Lisa Gillis, and I actually work in many different mediums. It depends what the preferred outcome is, what I'm working on. As if I'm doing something realistic, I'll work in oil or pastel. If I'm sketching live on site, I'll work in ink and watercolor. And for the pieces I'm creating for Mosaic this year, I like to create with a medium called acrylic gouache, which is perfectly suited for the colorful, vibrant designs that I create.
Can you tell us a little bit about your education and background?
Sure. I have a master's degree in art education from Nazareth up in Rochester, and I have certification K through 12 to teach art, which I did for many years. I've also studied under several artists around the area: Bridget Bossart von Otterloo, Mark Rubin, Wilson Ong. So I think I'm a continual learner. You're never done learning, which is one of the wonderful things about 171 Cedar Art. It's there for us to learn.
Thank you. Can you tell us a little bit about what or who inspired you to pursue a career in art?
Sure. I can't ever remember a time when I wasn't creating. Even as a small child, I loved to create things. I loved to be working with my hands and my mind. I'm a very introverted, introspective kind of person. So to create gives me a voice. And so that's always felt good to be able to do that. But then when I was in high school, I was a pretty serious student, and I had a lot of options that I was looking into, going into math and astrophysics. People are always surprised. They're like, wait, art, math, science connection? But I really bonded with my high school art teacher. She was wonderful. She was very laid back like I was and took an interest in what I was doing. And I decided to become an art teacher and pursue art as a field, and then ultimately to become an art teacher like her and to inspire other people to go on and become artists, which I have had the wonderful opportunity to do over the years, and then finally transitioned into my own art. I actually have a student who is one of the graphic designers now over at the CMOG.
Can you tell us a little bit about the theme or inspiration for your Mosaic exhibition this year?
Sure. Well, nature is definitely a big inspiration for me with these graphic designs. You can see behind me the series that I've created for Mosaic this year is in two different designs, just like I did last year, if you remember what I did last year at all. So I took two of my graphic designs, this one here, and then the one back there. This one is called Chicory Days, because one of the main elements is chicory flowers, I call them. Most people call them wildflowers or weeds. And the other one is called In the Ginkgo Garden, which I was inspired to create after walking around my neighborhood and collecting ginkgo leaves. And so I take the larger designs and then I pull smaller images out of the larger designs that stand on their own. So it's really fun imagining the entire design and then to reimagine it as smaller bits, smaller compositions. They really draw your eye in and help you to see all the fun little details that are around you all the time. So when I'm out in nature, I keep some sketchbooks. I'm always sketching and learning the different plants and insects and whatnot around this area and all over the world. I have huge amount of files of photos I've taken everywhere. I first started becoming interested in designs incorporating nature when I lived in Taiwan. The diversity in color there and leaf shapes were also different from what we have here, that it really sparked my interest. And that's when I first started to create these designs when I was living there. And it just continued here. I began to notice all the beautiful things in this world that connected us to nature. And I love putting things together that you wouldn't necessarily find together in nature, but yet I put them together. Like in this one here in Chicory Days, there's a trillium in there, a trillium flower, which are a very endangered thing that you would find in the woods naturally, they don't bloom at the same time as chicory. And the butterflies that are floating through there, or the dragonflies rather, they wouldn't come at the same time either, nor would they be in the same environment. But I can put them together in a way that really sings, that enhances all the different elements. And I hope that these things make other people interested in nature and interested in going out and looking and seeing what's there, and the beauty and delicacy and the different shapes and forms.
Well, thank you. And then, so my last question that I really like to ask artists is, why do you believe art is important?
That's a very good one. Art is very important. Creativity is very important. If you think about the world as a whole and our learning experience and our growth experience, so much of what we do is convergent thinking. We're trying to get to one right answer. Art and creativity is divergent thinking. There's not just one path to right. There's many, many paths to right. And art fosters that divergent creative thinking. And the scientists that are working right now on a vaccine for COVID-19, they're going to be finding those answers because they're thinking outside the box. They're thinking creatively. They're not looking at solutions that already exist necessarily, but how to put different and new things together. Anytime there's an advance in humanity and in culture, it's because of divergent thought. It's because of creativity, and art is one of the things that fosters that so well. And it's a way to hear everybody's voice because art speaks from the soul. So it's different than all the other kinds of professions you can have, all the different kinds of ways you can express yourself. Art is unique. And I think that it really impacts and betters everyone and helps us to understand one another above and beyond culture, above and beyond time. It's really a timeless thing, art is. So it's just wonderful. I think that everyone should admire art, be inspired by art, live with real art in their home. And even if they choose to try their hand at art, come into 171, take a class, be brave.
All right, well, thank you. That's all the questions that I have, but if there was anything else that you wanted to add before we ended, this would be a good time now.
Sure. I just wanted to say that another opportunity that if you are interested in art, come join me as part of the Urban Sketchers. We meet every Sunday afternoon and we go out and draw together. And if it's something that you feel called to do, that you want to investigate, you're always welcome. There's no fee, no prerequisite. You just show up. We have a Facebook group, Urban Sketchers Corning, where you can see where we're going to be.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me, and that's it for this.
Thank you very much, Mitchell.